In this demonstration, I'm going to talk about the Magic Wand tool. To select the Magic Wand tool, you're going to go over here. You might already have the Quick Selection tool selected. If you do, then go ahead and press and hold it, and you're going to find the Magic Wand tool underneath it. Okay, this tool, it sort of looks like a little starburst on the end of a stick. Well, this tool is something that will select pixels based on their tonal range, and it will distinguish between a threshold, or what we call up here a tolerance, of those different tonal ranges. So let's go ahead and look at this coral, and I'm going to blow this up so that we can get a better idea sort of what is around it. Now, the first thing that you might try to do is grab this magic wand and say, okay, well, first of all, you need to make sure you're on the right layer. So we've already been through that game a couple of times. Make sure you've got the background selected. So the first thing you might do is go ahead and say, oh, I'm going to start selecting stuff here. Well, the problem with that is that there's so many varieties of tones within this range, and they're so very similar that our tolerance isn't really high enough to detect all of them. And really, all we care about is getting the entire selection of this coral. So what's really different is the stark white on the outside. So the best way to get started is not necessarily to start off first with the magic wand, but use a combination of tools where we go to the marquee, and maybe I'll go ahead and draw a square marquee around the thing. And what I can do now, since I'm blocking out all of these other tones, I don't have to worry about it picking up any other tones in here, is that I can now go to my magic wand and I can use a subtraction method. So I can either go and click on up here where it says subtract from selection, or I can use my keyboard commands, in which case I'm going to do that because I'm used to that, and it's a really good idea to get used to doing those commands. So I'm going to hold down Option or Alt, and you'll see that it turns into a little subtraction tool. And if I click, what it did is it deselected all of those very, very bright white tones from the selection, leaving me with this coral. Now, once again, I've said this once already about this file being incredibly simple to use. Most of the time, whenever you have something that you need to select, it's not going to be that easy. But what you can do is start to build up, by adjusting the tolerance, you can build up a selection by selecting portions of it. So anyway, what we can look at up close is, I'm going to blow this up, and you can see that that selection is pretty darn good. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out, and what we can do is like what we did before, and that is to go up here and say edit, and then we're going to copy it, and then I'm just going to use a keyboard shortcut, so I'm going to do Command or Control Paste with a Command Control V for Victor to do a paste, and I'm going to take my move tool now, and let's see, did it actually paste it? No, it doesn't seem like it actually worked. So let's try it again. While I have my selection made, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say copy, and let's do it this way since my keyboard command didn't work that time. And there, when I pasted it that time, it did create my new layer. So we'll just call it C thing. Okay, you can call it coral, whatever you want. And then I'm going to take my move tool and I'm going to drag a copy of it over onto my plate, because that's what the book does. I don't know. Anyway, but you can see what a detailed and good selection that is. It doesn't hurt that the Photoshop file has already made a really good selection for us by putting this perfectly outlined image on a bright white background. But this will at least give you the understanding of how the Magic Wand tool works in theory.